Delaware's transit service, moving forward.
Tonight, after a heated meeting, the city of Newark moves forward on a new University of Delaware student tax. Plus, 2 high school coaches are suspended after a heated exchange, and a Delaware nonprofit springs into action again, rescuing a young seal pup. Details on the heartwarming rescue mission and how you can help protect them. Those stories and much more straight ahead on DETV News. Good evening and welcome to DETV News. I'm Matt Ford. Thanks for joining us tonight. Making headlines today, the city of Newark is pushing ahead with plans for a new tax targeting students at the University of Delaware, seeking additional revenue to support city services and operations. During a packed council meeting on Monday evening, students voiced opposition to the proposed per-student tax, which would levy up to $50 per semester on full or part-time undergraduate and postgraduate students attending in-person classes. The resolution unanimously was approved by council and aims to generate an estimated $2 million annually for the city, contingent on UD enrollment figures. City officials argue that UD, like other nonprofits, benefits from tax-exempt status on its property within city limits, amounting to about $6 million annually if they were taxed. They contend that the proposed fee is necessary to address a widening budget deficit and escalating operational costs. While some council members acknowledge the potential burden on students, they did stress the importance of equitable financial contributions from the university. The move now hinges on approval from the state legislature, with city officials expressing confidence in garnering support for the measure. And Delaware Supreme Court has upheld former state auditor Kathy McGinnis's conflict of interest conviction for hiring her daughter, but overturned another misdemeanor conviction, potentially setting the stage for a retrial. McGinnis was the first sitting statewide official convicted of criminal charges last year. The court rejected most of her appeal arguments, but overturned one conviction due to evidence spillage from a dismissed charge. Prosecutors may opt for another trial, though they have yet to comment on the ruling. And in other news, 21 people are now facing charges of criminal trespass and disorderly conduct following a sit-in and protest staged at President Biden's Wilmington campaign headquarters on Monday. According to Wilmington police, law enforcement responded to a report in the 1000 block of West Street concerning a group of individuals who they say were trespassing and engaging in disorderly behavior within the premises. Security personnel and building management informed authorities that the individuals were trespassing and refused to vacate the area. Officials say despite repeated instructions to depart, those charged, all were adults, persisted in disregarding law enforcement directives. The Sunrise Movement, a collective identified for being responsible for the demonstration, asserted their involvement via social media. Their stated objective was to compel President Biden to declare a climate emergency. Footage shared by Sunrise Movement on X, formerly known as Twitter, depicted one young man being escorted away in handcuffs, as you saw there. And Wilmington police are investigating the stabbing death of a 59-year-old woman. Her body was found around 7:30 a.m. at Kosciuszko Park near the 600 block of South Franklin Street. The park was temporarily closed to the public as police investigated. No word yet on the woman's identity. Residents did voice concerns about the park having a history of violence, including sexual assaults, rape, and robberies in that area. Wilmington Councilwoman Yolanda McCoy says neighbors have reached out to her with other concerns, including people sleeping there as well as doing drugs there at the park. McCoy says that there have been efforts to deter crime and illegal activity, like increased lighting and signage. She is now working on establishing a block captain program and already has 10 community leaders on board to help keep an eye on the park so it can remain open and accessible. No arrests have been made in this case. Anyone with information on this incident is urged to contact police at 302-576-3654. And a bit further north now, an 18-year-old was shot Monday afternoon in the parking lot of an apartment complex. It happened at the Paladin Club condominiums on Westview Road in Edgemoor. Officers arrived at the scene to find the teen shot in the back. He was rushed to the hospital. There is no word on his condition at this time. Police are still searching for the gunman in this incident and investigating a possible motive as well. Anyone with information is, of course, asked to contact police. And Newcastle County Police need your help locating a woman they say assaulted several people with her car. They say 22-year-old Andrea Ortiz, who is still on the loose, fought the victims in the area of Riverview Drive and Collins Park on Sunday, apparently hitting them with her car, described only as an older white sedan. Ortiz is Hispanic, 5 feet 3 inches and about 120 pounds. Anyone who knows where she is urged to reach out to the email or phone number seen there on your screen. Basketball coaches at St. Mark's High School and Salesianum School have been suspended by the Delaware Interscholastic Athletic Association after a heated exchange. It happened at the end of last Thursday's game between the two teams in St. Mark's gym. Assistant coaches Jim Creel and Kerry Kennard must miss 2 games each. Head coaches Lonnie Wright and Taylor Trevison must sit out 1 game. In a video shared on the Delaware High School Athletes Parents Facebook page, seen here, the two appeared to have a heated exchange and needed to be physically separated. Tempers apparently flared immediately after the game. The gym floor became crowded as people tried to leave the gym, with some trying to intervene in various confrontations, including the one between the assistant coaches. The DIAA did not suspend any of the players. St. Mark's athletic director said DIAA, quote, took appropriate actions against the coaches and added that the two schools have worked together and took appropriate actions against the students. And in other news, heads up, if you take I-95 through Newark, a major piece of construction work is scheduled to take place during the overnight hours this week on the I-95 Route 896 construction project we've been telling you about. Crews will be working on the 3rd stage of the steel girder placement of what will be the future flyover ramp from I-95 southbound to southbound Route 896. The nightly closures of both directions of I-95 are scheduled between 9 p.m. and 7 a.m. on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights this week. The Delaware Department of Transportation said they are recommending detours during the hours of the interstate closure to avoid delays on the alternate routes through the city of Newark. Contractors are also reserving the night of Monday, February 19th for work as well. For updated information, you can head to the 895-896 Improvements website on your screen. To Sussex County now, where Laurel police continue to investigate a weekend shooting that injured 3 and left over 50 spent casings scattered on the scene. On February 11th, the Laurel Police Department posted police were dispatched Sunday morning to the Carvel Gardens on Daniel Street, where shots were fired. Upon arrival, many people filed out of the apartment and fled to their cars and even on foot. Officials contacted the apartment renter, where it was discovered that 3 individuals had been struck by gunfire. Now, as of today, Tuesday, police have not identified the victims but did share updates to their conditions. Officers also said that a vehicle leaving the residence Sunday night was commanded to stop, but it refused. A pursuit was initiated by the Laurel police, and several people were taken into custody. They were questioned and later released. The Marine Education Research and Rehabilitation Institute has announced the rescue of another seal pup from a Sussex County beach in the past few days. According to the Institute, a young female gray seal was found at Cape Henlopen State Park near the point on Saturday. The pup was taken to the National Aquarium in Baltimore for rehab and eventual release. The rescue is the second one that MER has conducted within 1 week. MER says they rescue young animals to give them adequate hydration and nutritional support. Many of the pups still support these fluffy white coats that signify that they're still nursing, and that signals that they're too young to find food themselves. Murr says they rarely need to rescue such young seal pups, so the recent uptick that we're seeing is unusual. According to Murr, sea pupping in Delaware is a fairly recent occurrence, and it might be the result of the developing seal colony off of Lewis. Murr asks anyone who encounters the seal on the beach to call them and keep a distance of 150 feet from them. More information can be found on the Murr Institute's website. And an exciting development here in the heart of Wilmington, the Mill has just unveiled its latest expansion, adding a substantial 38,000 square foot to its footprint. This growth not only marks the Mill as one of the largest co-working spaces in the greater Philadelphia area, but also represents a key development in the transformation of the former Nemours building into a mixed-use hub now known as Market West. The brains behind the project, the Buccini Poland Group, alongside the Mill's own Rob Herrera, celebrated this achievement today in a ribbon-cutting ceremony. Dignitaries including Governor John Carney, Newcastle County Executive Matt Meyer, and Wilmington Mayor Mike Przicki were all there in attendance. And before we leave you this evening, President Joe Biden has continued his love of revisiting familiar places when he's here in the first state. The president, who was staying at his home in Greenville this past weekend, spent part of his Saturday dining with his sister, Valerie Biden Owens, at Mrs. Rubino's restaurant. The landmark Italian-American restaurant on Union Street in Wilmington's Little Italy neighborhood has been a part of the Delaware dining community since 1940. Mrs. Rubino's has also been spotlighted on the Food Network star Guy Fieri's Diners, Dive-Ins, and Drives. You may remember back in 2019, Fieri parked his signature red vintage Camaro convertible right outside of Mrs. Rubino's on Union Street and filmed the restaurant's staff and its customers. It was a good episode. If you haven't seen it, check it out. That's going to do it for tonight's edition of DETV News. Be sure to like and follow us across your favorite social media platforms. And for a look at what's happening all across our great state of Delaware, head to our website. That's detvch.com. With tonight's news, I'm Matt Ford. I'll see you again right back here tomorrow night.